I'm a handwritten note kind of girl. I was kicked out of VIP yesterday, and today I'm in VIP, so there it is. One more thing. Oprah mentioned how she feels safe and how she thrives in solitude. Another eye-to-eye moment. I enjoy traveling by myself. I enjoy reading by myself, fishing by myself, sitting by myself. Because I just enjoy, Oprah said that she enjoys sitting with her thoughts. I love sitting with my thoughts. For some people, sitting with your thoughts is literally a death sentence in their mind. Having to sit in silence and be by yourself is torture for some people. And me, on the other end, it is heaven. Heaven on earth, honestly. I almost weep when I know I have to go in social settings. I literally have to just like deep breathe. But it's like so funny because depending on the environment, I'm like social butterfly until I'm not. And when I'm not, it's time to go. But when, I think there's a healthy balance, but be okay with sitting by yourself and sitting with your thoughts. Because there's true power in that. Because that's how you get to know yourself, know who you are, what you stand for, what you believe. But when you're so used to being around people, hearing the thoughts of people, the opinions of people, you become an extension of them. You like morph into them almost, because you morph into a lot of people because you're taking in them as yourself because you don't know who you are. But get comfortable with sitting with yourself, because that's how you avoid feeling like, one, I don't know who I am, I don't know what my purpose is, I don't have a purpose. I feel like every time I go into settings, people think I feel like I'm not being myself, or people don't relate to me. I was having a conversation with the person I'm here on the trip with, explaining how I don't ever go into a setting feeling like I need to put on or be somebody I'm not, or like I'm an imposter. I am who I am. There's the idea of stepping into the setting that you're in. There are some times where I need to say things a certain way. There are other times where I need to say things the other way. And it's not just like code switching. Have you ever been around somebody and they say Wednesday or Tuesday? I'm not going to be the one to correct them. It's Wednesday and Tuesday. Tuesday when we're with them. Or when, I hate when people do this, when they ask how are you and you say good and they say well as a way to like correct you, I do that on purpose. It doesn't matter. I'm good, I'm well, I'm lying. I'm good and well, but I'm just saying that as like a filler. And I'm rambling because I'm tired. But yeah, get comfortable with silence. And then we're gonna close out there because it's beautiful. I wouldn't survive in Dallas, Texas because they're big meat eaters, specifically like steak and barbecue. I could really use a carrot and some celery right now to take the edge off. I desperately want a vegetable. This is the OOTD for today. I love this dress. I worn this dress to the Alvin Ailey the first time I went, or the first time I went by myself or with somebody. No, okay, whatever. I wore this dress to the Alvin Ailey a couple years ago, and it's beautiful. I also had to make my own like strapless bra because I forgot one. So hopefully the straps don't show. And my eczema? My eczema is definitely gonna show. But it's day 2 of Good Soil. Oh Lord. Mentally preparing myself for the talking. Not of the speakers, but me having to talk to others. Toodles. A quick shout out to the guy behind the bar. I asked him to plug my phone up to charge it. He said yes. I then came back and asked him how much was the water. He said $4. $4 for Aquafina. I then asked him, is there a senior discount? And he said, don't worry about it. And he gave me the water for free. Because as somebody who only drinks water in Shirley Temples, I do not survive events because they charge $10 for bottles of water. So shout out to that guy. He gave me his name, but I'm not gonna say it so he doesn't lose his job.
Your link can't stay whole if there are broken links. I've had a lot of broken links in my life. And my problem is I thought that I could save everybody. But it ain't my responsibility to save everybody, because in my saving everybody, I lost myself. I had to eliminate, and still eliminating, broken links. Because that's the only way that I'm going to stay, watch this, locked in.
Home health agencies, I'm actually a therapist, so a licensed therapist, that's what I started. That's what I went to grad school for. And so when I came out of graduate school, I started my own home health agency in Lafayette, and I had 55 employees there and a ton of patients. And so I hired like CNAs, LPNs, and I hired RNs and positioned them throughout the hospital. So I've always
I'm laughing because I just saw David Banner and he was cursing and somebody had to tap him on the shoulder and say, David, we're at a Christian organization. Please dial it back. It's break now and I'm probably gonna find a corner and go hide. Toodles. Let me show you. She's getting containers. Hold on. Well, I recorded a video with her. I don't want to be weird. I record her getting a container. But I made a friend. I'm so happy. What time is it? Like, what time is the breakout thing? Break.
I'm probably gonna go.
Do that, and your tribe is gonna find you, and whoever don't mess with it, they don't mess with it. They don't matter.
It's just a season. Don't change. If you know who you are, I know the thing that you're offering is of value to people. You're servicing black authors. You're not servicing white authors, you're servicing black authors. Keep the thing, merge it together, make it bigger, and call it One Life. One Life.
Short story. In short, I worked retail through undergrad and through grad school, and put myself through business school. And with the intention, I played baseball at Florida A&M. Yeah, I'm a rattler and a noob. Yeah, so I was trying to become like a sports agent. My dad was in baseball, and knew I didn't have the skills to play on the field, but was hoping after with an NBA.
This is day 2. This concludes day 2 of Good Soil, and here is my recap. I did a big thing. So there's gonna be a clip in this video where I'm mean mugging a person.
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
Are people okay? Oh Lord, this is why I don't go outside. Who walked behind me or attempted to walk behind me while I was recording. And I looked at her and I then said, "This is why I don't leave my house." For some reason, I felt really convicted after I did that, because I thought she did it on purpose. But then I thought about it, and it made me think back to when Essie said, "Deja, your Achilles heel is the fact that you need to get even with people." I would just want to add that I also think my Achilles heel is not only do I need to get even with people, I don't tolerate disrespect very well. And in that moment, I thought she disrespected me. So I felt convicted, and that was day 1. Day 2, we get there and I see her with the person who gave me their contact information. And I was like, of course they know each other. Of course they know each other. And that's not the reason why I felt a sense of conviction. I was gonna talk to her even before I knew that she was talking to somebody that reached out to me or who gave me their contact information. So after an event, I saw her and I went up to her and I said, "I apologize for the way that I acted. It was a misunderstanding. I was under the impression that you did it on purpose." Come to find out, she's from Providence, and we spent most of the day together. And I just felt like in that moment that was really major for me, one, to apologize. I don't have a problem with apologizing, but when I feel like I'm disrespected, I don't really feel the need to apologize. It's just kind of like, well, you earned it. But in that moment, I don't think she earned it. I just think I was overreacting, so I did apologize. And like I said, we spent most of the day together. She's really cool. She does tattoos. She's a travel agent. Like, she does a lot of stuff. So I can't list it all off, but I feel like that was a real teachable moment. That really showed me, one, you don't know who knows who, and two, sometimes it's better to just let things be. And because I'm from a particular place where we like react immediately, in that moment I did react immediately, and I think it's really important to just take a breath and sometimes just let things go. Who cares if she walks behind your video on purpose? There are people who do things intentionally. So I'm so used to people doing things maliciously, intentionally from a malicious standpoint, that I just react instantly. She made a mistake. I apologize. And the irony of it all is that I was giving her tips for TikTok. So after we like started talking to each other, we had lunch together. I was giving her tips like how to optimize her bio on TikTok, how to optimize her name, tips to produce quality content on TikTok. So I felt like, did I make a friend out of it? Not sure, but I'm glad that I was able to apologize and own up to a moment when I was clearly in the wrong. And her cousin did, I need to stop saying her cousin reached out to me, gave me her contact information, so I do intend to pursue that. But I didn't apologize just to maintain the connection. I apologized because I was in the wrong. And that, my friends, is what we call growth. Overall, I've learned that I can't do these forums and these networking things back to back to back to back to back. I'm just not that kind of girl. It's exhausting, and I get it. Everybody's hungry. Everybody wants to be successful. Everybody wants their business to be out there. But there's this emphasis on getting in front of everybody's face, talking to everybody, and that's just not me. I feel like I handled the situation to the best of my ability. I talk to people who I feel led to talk to, and I make genuine connections. I'm not going to be in everybody's face just spewing information, name dropping when I don't have to, because that's just not me. I don't have to do that. I feel like I learned a lot at this conference, but my biggest takeaway is all it takes is one interaction to really make or break. Actually, let me not say make or break, but all it takes is one interaction to really set yourself up for success. You don't have to like be in everybody's face, or loosely it's like panhandling or pushing yourself onto people, because you might push yourself onto somebody who's not called to be in your life, or who can't do anything. I need to watch my words. You might not be called, that person might not be called into your life, and they might not be a good person or a good fit for what is on your life or what your calling is. So I feel like I'm very selective with who I'm around, who I interact with, not in a pretentious way or like I'm better than them. It's just that who's for me is for me, and I want it to be organic, not me pushing myself like product. And that is also why I was like apprehensive about being a full-time content creator, because I don't want to be the commodity. I just want to be myself. I just want to be a person. But in attending this conference, I learned that two things can exist at once. You could be a brand and you can have a brand, but it's all about setting clear boundaries. It's all about how you market yourself, and it's also about what your vision is. And I feel like that kind of sums up today. I felt like day one was very jam-packed in information and inspiration. Day two, it was good. I love the gowns, the beautiful gowns. Just kidding. It was good, but nothing compares to day one. I think that's when the energy was up. Everybody was feeling motivated and inspired. Now everybody's ready to leave and go put things into work. I think that's what's happening. I have to go to CVS, so I'm gonna walk the streets of Texas by my lonesome. I changed my clothes. These are the jeans I had on from yesterday. Don't judge me. But yeah, I don't think I'm gonna bring the camera because I don't really know how they get down in Dallas, Texas. But yeah, that concludes Good Soil Day 2. I made great connections. My favorite connection was the woman from Boston. Like nothing compares to that. And there was also another woman named Jessica. We were just like seeing each other constantly. So eventually we just started waving at each other. And then the last time we saw each other, she came up to me and was just like, we've seen each other, we run into each other all the time. I think it's time that we exchange names. So we exchanged names. I found out what she does. It was like a brief interaction. Then I got her Instagram. But it's just like, we just kept running into each other. And although it's not like a big space and there's not like a lot of people, if you just keep seeing the same person over and over again, at this point, am I developing a southern twang? At some point, like, you just have to talk to each other. So, Jessica, I followed you on Instagram, and the service in that place was horrible. So now I'm gonna walk to Texas. I'm gonna walk to CVS, and yeah, that's it. I'm gonna see if I have anything else burning on my heart. Right now, I don't. The Camille Rose was really good. When she said I don't interview well, I felt that. Like Oprah, we were seeing eye to eye. I genuinely don't. Because what are you even asking me? Why do you want to work here? I wouldn't be applying if I didn't want to work there. Or tell me a little bit about yourself. I answer questions in a way that is unique. People want to hear what you can do for them. And attending this conference and just looking back on my life, that is the common denominator. I share information that's relevant to me or that I want to share. Like, obviously in a job interview, when they say, tell me about yourself, I'm not going to go on a tangent on things that are irrelevant, but I'm going to tell you things that matter to me and things that are relevant to my future goals. Like in a most recent interview that I was in, they were asking me what my future goals were in terms of being a clinician. And I said, I want to be equine assisted therapist. And they were just like, oh, that's really good. Yeah. But what they really wanted to hear is that I'm going to spend my entire life in a college setting. I have great aspirations to work with college students. Since I came out of the womb, I've always wanted to work with college students. Me and college students are one and the same, but there are clear boundaries that are established between me and the college students so that they know I am the professional. I am the clinician, but I am here to help them. That's literally what they wanted to hear. And I was telling them like, oh, I want to be an equine assisted therapist. I want to work with individuals that have experienced trauma. Hopefully one day get EMDR certified, maybe throw in some expressive arts therapy in there. And then they asked me, wishful thinking, what's one thing that you would do for the institution? And I said, oh, it would be a great idea to have self-defense classes because I have my black belt, and they do this thing where they advocate for taking back the night or combating against sexual assault on the campus or just in general, I believe. I didn't really understand much about that program, but I was just like, that would be a great addition to the programming that's already established. They also asked me like, if you were hired, what would you implement? And I said I would implement walks, and they were just like, they were like, that's a good idea. So if there are walks on that campus, just know they got it from me. So now I know to not give all the juice, all the sauce during interviews. If they ask me, oh, what are my future goals? Lie. I'm not a good liar, that's the problem. So I gotta figure it out. But now I know. Tell the people what they wanna hear. Give the people what they wanna hear. Even if you gotta give a show, even if you gotta method act for the moment, give the people what they wanna hear. And in closing, I found it that in many interactions, I'm not a conversationalist when it's really just like the beginning stages, because it's just like, I think they expect me to just go on and on and on and on and on, and I don't have it. Like, you gotta ask me questions, and I think that's also a disconnect, is that I ask people a lot of questions, but they don't ask me questions. So it's just like, I can't speak about myself if I'm not prompted. I don't know what direction to go in if I don't know where the conversation should go, because you're not asking me any questions. So when people don't ask me questions, I interpret that as you don't really want to have a conversation with me, or you don't really find value in the conversation, so you're not asking questions, so I don't really engage, and then that's the end of it. So I don't know. I think I need to like see somebody about my aversion to conversations or why I struggle with having conversations. Maybe like reach out to somebody at the conference, like who's like a coach, because yeah, I've never been a conversationalist. I've never had to like make friends. All of my friends were plopped onto my lap via church and school. So having to make friends or hold mundane starter conversations is not my claim to fame. One more thing. I got a lot of compliments on my hair. Shout out to Deanna Styles in Brockton, Massachusetts. One lady asked me, we were in the bathroom, and she said, did you get your hair done? What did she ask me? She said, who did your hair? And I said, I'm not from here. She said, I figured. But then she backtracked and said, well, people do great hair here in Dallas, but not to that caliber. So Deanna did I was gonna curse. Deanna did the thing. Yeah, a lot of people gave me compliments on my hair. I feel like it made me really stand out, because the hair color, the hairstyle, the outfits, I feel like I did what I need to do. Now I will rest for 7 days and 7 nights. I just got back from CVS, and as I was heading to CVS, I saw a Salvation Army, and I said to myself, I'm gonna check that out before I head back. So I got my stuff from CVS, I booked the Uber, and I booked it for a Salvation Army I can't even talk. Heat. I booked it for a Salvation Army shelter. So we get to the shelter and he's just like, are you looking for housing or are you trying to shop? And I was like, oh, I'm trying to shop. And then I'm trying to change the Uber to add another ride or change the ride, but I didn't figure it out. So I just ended up getting out and booking an Uber to come back here because it was getting dark. But prior to that, I tried to walk to the Salvation Army from the CVS. I thought it was like a 30-minute walk. A 30-minute walk in Boston is not that bad. But a 30-minute walk in Texas is not a 30-minute walk. It's an hour-long walk. And I'm walking and walking and walking, and I feel like the 22 minutes, it goes to 22 minutes and it's not shrinking. The 22 minutes is not going down. And that's when I booked the Uber to go to the Salvation Army, and I was brought to a shelter. So on my way back, in my second Uber, he's playing the Beyonce Cowboy Carter album. And I was like, oh, that's funny, because I thought it was a radio, but he was playing it, and I felt like that's all I really wanted. I just wanted something to show that I was in Texas, or just like a trinket or something that I could bring back with me, but that was good enough for me. So as we're driving back in the second Uber, the Salvation Army was not even 2 minutes away from the shelter that I was at. But I was just like, oh, it's fine. It was already about to close anyway. It closed at 8, and by the time I would have actually got there, I wouldn't have had much time to shop. So I figured it was fine. And I also forgot to mention that when I was waiting for the first Uber that I booked after I was walking for many moons, I had found a gas station and I was stopped at the gas station. So I'm standing there with the bags in my hand. Clearly, I don't look like somebody that should be walking. Like, I'm not dressed to be walking in Dallas, Texas. This man who just did not look put together. His pants were like hanging to his ankles. His drawers were exposed. He was like literally about to expose himself. I could see that he was watching me. And I was just like, okay, I could see you looking at me. And eventually he started walking towards me. Keep in mind, I'm standing alongside the gas station waiting for my Uber. And as he's inching closer and closer towards me, I go into the liquor store that's at the gas station and I ask the attendant, can I just wait in here for my Uber? He says, sure. So I'm waiting in there for my Uber. Why did the man come in to the gas station with his hands in his pants? So, like, in a nick of time, my Uber comes and I leave. But prior to that, as I was walking to the Salvation Army, there was a man in the bushes telling me, hey, to come into the bushes. And I realized I didn't see a lot of people walking. People don't walk in Dallas, Texas. And I don't think it's just because everything is so far. It's because I don't think it's not safe to walk. And I understand that now. As somebody who likes to walk and just, that is my culture. I think that's like northern culture is to walk everywhere. I was okay with walking even though it was a long walk, but I now understand why people don't walk in Dallas. It makes sense. And obviously that wasn't very safe, but you know, you live and you learn. I'm still alive to tell the tale. But that was like so frustrating. I could tell that he was conjuring up something in his mind. And when I notice stuff like that, I immediately jump into the fact, like, if I have to fight this person, I will fight this person. So I could tell he was inching closer and closer towards me, and I took my Crocs off and put them in sport mode. So yeah, that's my ending to Dallas. I don't know what's gonna happen tomorrow. They have something booked at the Good Soil, but my flight is at 4, so I don't know how that's gonna work. But yeah, what a day. It just cut off randomly, but people were eating that up because they didn't know that you could buy your home on Section 8. But there are things As I said in one of my TikTok videos on my personal account, people don't know what they don't know. And because you don't know what you don't know, these larger companies are taking advantage of your ignorance, and they're taking advantage of you, and that's just not right, and it's not okay. So I want her to win. That's my prediction. I just recorded the whole video in slow motion, so let's pretend like this is the first take. So, I just left, let's see, hold on. John Hope Bryant's speech. He was very passionate, very knowledgeable, utilized math and critical thought to not only inspire, but to provide statistical information so that it's rooted in fact rather than opinion, which I really appreciated, and it was easy to follow. I would say that he mentioned a lot of gems related to how we were conditioned to believe one thing, but they really needed us to till the soil. They call us stupid and dumb, but they needed experts to till the soil. So there's irony in that, but I already knew that. He also talked about how purchasing real estate is the future. And he said, hold on, I don't know. He also said, you don't just say Black Lives Matter, you say Black Capitalism Matters. That one was like an eyebrow raise, but I need to do more research before I have an opinion on it. But overall, I felt like his speech was the most full, not in terms of presentation, but in terms of content. What he was saying was tangible, doable, and it also was rooted in, if you don't do it, here's what will happen, but if you do it, here's what will happen. Now they're having a pitch contest, so I started on the top floor during John Bryant's speech, and then as I was watching, as we were waiting to start, I was looking down into the VIP section. I could see two workers talking, but they were pointing in my general direction, and me just being so observant. So I don't pay any mind, and I just continue waiting. And then a woman comes up to the section that I'm in, and she says, if anybody wants to come to VIP, you can follow me, go downstairs, and they'll tell you where to sit. And when she said that, I paused for a second, because prior to, I was thinking that the top level floors, although they are the cheaper floors, are the better floors, in my opinion, because you get to see the screen rather than a little tiny person on a stage. And although the people in VIP paid for more expensive tickets, we're getting the same information. But for a split second, a lady was like, oh, do you want to go? And I was like, oh, I don't know. But then I ended up going. So we're sitting in VIP, and I'm hearing the speech. And I just think I think that was very funny, very ironic that I was thinking 5 minutes ago, I really enjoy being on the top floor. But then we got the opportunity to be in VIP. But which was another thing that was funny to me is when Oprah was going to speak. We were sitting in the lobby. I was talking to a woman, and I was under the impression that the doors on the first level were just like anybody could walk through, because I didn't assume that they were like good seats, but those were the VIP seats. So we were waiting there for a good 2 hours because it was the break. And people started lining up. The line started to get really long. And we're waiting in line. We go inside. Come to find out, you have to have a certain badge to be able to sit down. So the lady's like, we're checking bags. And the person who I'm with, she managed to slide through, but the lady checked my bag and realized that I was general admission. And she told me to go back upstairs. But the person who I was with just continued to go through. And I'm no shame in your game. If you want to do that, so be it. So she went through, and I ended up having to go back upstairs. And eventually, she was kicked out of the VIP section and was told to go back upstairs. That's what she told me. But I was kicked out of VIP yesterday, and today I'm in VIP, so there it is. And I thought that was like ironic, but also that's God right there, because I had no desire to be in VIP, but I ended up in VIP. And we'll close it out there. I set in for the pitch contest for a little bit. They already have the people pre-selected. I don't see the mortgage lady. I'm not sure if she's gonna speak. I hope she wins. But good luck to everybody else. But greater luck to the mortgage lady. And I want to go to the thrift store that I was supposed to go to. I was intended to go to yesterday, but couldn't find it, and get some little trinkets or souvenirs to just show that I was in Dallas, Texas. And yeah, this was a really fun trip. I learned a lot, and I know I'm gonna implement the things that I've learned here when I get back home. And I don't even have to wait until I get back home. Once I get to the airport, I'm gonna find me a lounge, pop a squat, and just review my notes. I'm a handwritten note kind of girl. Hold on. Me and my Sade shirt. So I'm gonna review my notes, just take a minute, decompress, because this was a lot of talking and listening, and then I'm gonna go home, and then that's it. And that concludes my trip in Dallas. Oh wait, no, I'm gonna record it in the thrift store, and then that's it. Toodles. I made it. I'm thinking about getting a cowgirl hat, but those don't look real authentic. I don't know what I'm gonna get, but we shall see.